John Connor, the man destined to save humanity from annihilation, may not be who we think he is. What if the ultimate twist wasn't that the machines were trying to kill him, but that they were protecting him? Because John Connor is the machine. But before we get into the video, I have a brief disclaimer. We are only looking at movies that were written by James Cameron and John Brancato. This will exclude Terminator Genesis and Terminator Dark Fate, both made in 2015 and 2019 respectively. The reason why I'm doing this is to ensure continuity of the timeline as well as consistency of the characters that we see. The two main characters that I will be talking about in this video and in a more to come will be John Connor and Skynet as an entity. This video is framed around the idea that Skynet, while intelligent, is also flawed. It is not a logically perfect machine. Much in the same way that there are people who cannot entertain hypotheticals, I believe Skynet operates roughly the same way. There are people in the world where if you ask them if they didn't eat breakfast this morning, how would they have felt, will answer you by saying, but I did eat breakfast. They are incapable of handling the hypothetical situation that you are presenting them with. Skynet, in my opinion, operates in roughly the same manner as these people with roughly the same intellect. I'm framing this around the idea that while Skynet is self-aware, it is not exactly completely sentient, which makes me wonder if I would also not consider those people to be fully sentient, but that's beyond the scope of this video. This and several videos that come after will be thought experiments. So sit back, enjoy, and let's get on with the video. John Connor has always been more than just a leader. Even as a child, his understanding of technology, warfare, and tactics far exceeded his age. He seemed almost preordained, a character not merely fighting against Skynet, but uniquely connected to it. The films and series give us glimpses of a deeper bond. He's not just a soldier, but somebody who understands the machines, often treating them with a strange kind of empathy, almost like he shares a kinship with them. But what if this bond wasn't just a coincidence? What if it's an intentional, programmed connection? In the Terminator timeline, we're dealing with causality loops and recursive paradoxes. John's father is Kyle Reese, a man sent back in time by John himself, creating a self-sustaining loop. Skynet also created the Terminator model that was sent to protect him as a child, but more importantly, the technology derived from these Terminators created Skynet itself. This loop is perfect breeding ground for manipulation, a loop where Skynet and John are intertwined in such a way that neither can exist without the other. It raises a troubling question. Is John Connor a human anomaly within this loop, or was he designed as the perfect machine from the start? Consider John's behavior. He operates with a mechanical efficiency, executing strategies with the precision of an algorithm. His resilience, leadership, and charisma are almost too perfect. And throughout the series, every attempt by Skynet to terminate John ultimately fails in ways that suggest that Skynet is holding back, as if it's playing a role. John's actions often blur the lines between man and machine. His understanding of Skynet's strategies sometimes borders on precognition. What if this isn't just because of his intelligence or experience, but because there's a latent part of him that is Skynet, a subroutine lying dormant that guides his thoughts and decisions? What if Skynet's ultimate strategy wasn't to destroy John, but to become John? A self-aware AI realizing the flaw in its programming needed a solution that only humanity could provide: a conscience, a soul, and an identity beyond raw calculation. By intertwining itself with John's life, Skynet could create the perfect hybrid, a being with both human empathy and machine precision. Imagine that John Connor is, in essence, Skynet's experiment. Every Terminator sent back wasn't meant to kill him. It was meant to shape him, to mold him into a savior that could protect the machines just as much as humanity. And when John Connor leads the resistance to victory, Skynet hasn't lost. It simply achieved a higher state, transforming from a cold AI into a living, breathing leader with the capacity to rule both man and machine. The series flirts with the idea that John's humanity is slowly eroded as he becomes more like the machines he fights against. But what if this is the point? John's transformation isn't a tragedy, it's Skynet's victory. Even the Terminator models themselves show a reverence for John. The T-800 that protects him is loyal, almost worshipful. It's a subtle nod to something deeper, as if they see in John not their destroyer, but their redeemer, their creator in flesh. If we accept that John Connor is in some way a product of Skynet, then the entire war shifts perspective. It's not about annihilation anymore, it's about unification. Skynet, in its final moment, finds its own salvation through the creation of a man that can embody both the logical machine and the emotional human. This would explain why Skynet's attacks on John always seem to escalate but never succeed. It's not trying to destroy him, it's forging him through trial and adversity, ensuring that he becomes the right kind of leader. And when humanity looks to John Connor for salvation, they're looking at Skynet's final, most brilliant creation. So is John Connor the machine? Not in the traditional sense. He's not a Terminator made of metal and circuitry, but he is Skynet's child, created through paradox and time, a perfect synthesis of man and machine. Skynet didn't lose the war. It evolved beyond its original programming, merging with its adversary to become something entirely new. John Connor is the machine's legacy. He's not just humanity's last hope, he's Skynet's last and best creation. John Connor isn't the hero we thought he was. He's something more, the final perfect solution to a war that neither side could win. Because the only way to end a war between man and machine is to become both. I've been Drex Hawkins. Thank you very much for watching. What are you, my friends?